of Chatter podcast, and I am still editing the Brandon Sklenar video that I just did. If you guys tuned into me a little bit earlier, I think modern technology and the weather hates me, but I miss you guys so much. I really am trying to connect with you and to give you more tidbits and cold iced tea on this case. So thank you for sticking with me through all of the technical difficulties. I am trying to get better. But I wanted to spend a couple minutes just going over something that I noticed with the Brandon Sklenar thing. So Brandon Sklenar signed with WME after he was signed on to It Ends With Us movie. One question, is that because of Blake Lively or is that because of Justin Baldoni? Now, as you can recall, both Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively were part of WME. Justin Baldoni has since been dismissed. Well, what about taking a closer look at the deals? I believe, and I'll have to dig into this more, Brandon Sklenar is also associated with maybe the management of Blake Lively's branding of 360. If someone can take a look at that 360 management, and just Google that, I think Brandon Sklenar is also associated with that. One point that I did want to make that you'll see in my video is that the original poster, the one that Blake Lively completely changed, it had not only Brandon Sklenar's name on it, it also had Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively's. Now, if you take a look at Blake Lively's contract, you will notice that the credit information was input in there. It was something like no one else's name may be higher, something like that, some sort of special language. Now, I would assume Brandon Sklenar would also have to agree to have his name on the poster as well. Well, how would that go over? This is like Brandon Sklenar's like big name in lights moment. Why would he agree to take off his name of a movie poster? That would have to be coordinated with somebody, wouldn't it? And wouldn't that have to be coordinated with Brandon Sklenar's new agent at the time, WME? And if he had to sacrifice his name in credit and basically his name in lights, which essentially affects WME as well, because WME gets a cut of all of these actors' paychecks, whatever. I'm sure Blake Lively had to pay some sort of management fee or agent fee of maybe like 10%, 15%, 20%. I'm assuming when I was trying to make it big in the world, when I was a teenager and trying to make it big in the entertainment industry, my mom was like my momager, and she was a straight 20%, and she was going to make all of the decisions, everything, and she wanted her 20%. So if she wanted her 20% managing my own non-existent career, what is WME going to get? Hi, Tom. Hi, is that Kyson? Glad that you can join me on my live real quick. I'm trying to do a better video on Brandon Sklenar and the whole relation of lawsuit. We are talking about film credit that he had to get up. We love you. Oh my God, thank you. Can I take a picture? I'm so flattered. Ross, is that Ross Stanley? Hi, welcome to my live. We were just talking about Brandon Sklenar and everybody, not everybody, but things that are kind of surrounding that cloud. So he would have had to give up his film or that title credit. There is some online article that I was hunting for that had the agent's name that he was associated with. I still want to say that's Zavala, which is Blake Lively's agent, but I'm not sure, so don't hold me to that. But if it is, wouldn't that have made negotiations on taking that film title credit off of the poster easier? Because wouldn't have been like, hey, this is Blake Lively's agent. I'm your agent. Why don't we take your name off of this poster and we can get you in touch with, I don't know, Paul Feig, or maybe we can get in touch with some of the Marvel stuff because of Blake Lively. I want to know what the negotiations were with that agent, Blake Lively, Brandon Sklenar, and it ends with us, LLC, or Jamie Heath, just about anybody. I want to know that. Because I think we're glossing over the fact that Brandon Sklenar might be the linchpin. I don't think it's Colleen Hoover. I think Colleen Hoover got taken advantage of with her ignorance in the entertainment industry. It's very easy to do. I get it. You can get swept up in the lights. You can get swept up in the money. You can put yourself in compromising positions. Is that something that happened with Brandon Sklenar or maybe Alex Sachs? Because I think Jenny Slate was already Team Blake ahead of this. You know, comments of trauma bonding, you know, comments of, oh, you're not allowed to say the XC comment anymore. I think Blake Lively and Jenny Slate were already on the same energy field. As I'm a private person, I don't want to go out of my way to say hi to fans. I don't want to go out of my way to show up on time. I'm talking about Blake Lively, not Jenny Slate on the time issue. But things like that, I think they're vibing on the same level of personality and where they are in their celebrity world. So the questions I have, let's go over them. What did WME gain with working with Blake Lively and Brandon Sklenar? Because if they elevated Brandon Sklenar, thank you. Is it Kyson? Thank you so much. If they elevated Brandon Sklenar's celebrity through Blake Lively, which I'm going to admit, Wayfair did the same thing with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, but Blake Lively was not the A-list actress. She actually was the A-list indie actress because I think she fell so far off of the celebrity blockbuster mainstream shenanigans. You know what I mean? So I think she's an A-list indie actor because she's had so many flops, if that makes sense. But I want to know how much money WME and how much money that agent made off of Brandon Sklenar for doing that, for asking Brandon if he was okay to take his name off of that poster. But what if it wasn't even WME that did it? What if it was Blake Lively that went to Brandon Sklenar and said, hey, can I take your name off of the movie poster? I'll give you recommendations. I'll talk to this person, whatever. Because remember, all of this happened after she filmed A Simple Favor and was working on movies. You know what I mean? So what were the negotiations to do that? Because she would have had permission to take people's name off of movie posters. And I think Colleen Hoover just got swept up in the lights and how handsome Brandon was, and maybe Blake Lively wined and dined both of them behind the scenes, and it became you are saying one story and Wayfair is saying another story, and I think that's what happened. I think once Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath informed Colleen Hoover what was going on, Colleen Hoover already knew what was going on from Blake Lively, but she knew Blake Lively's version of it. And what happened was Blake Lively was able to utilize that and say, they are victim shaming me. They are making me seem like a liar. This is not true. This is retaliation. I have approval over the editing through Sony. Blake Lively could have told Colleen Hoover anything that she wanted because Blake Lively caught off the second part of the story. There are three sides to every story. There's the truth, there is one side, and then there's the other side, and everything just comes together and gets gelled, and then we have close to what the truth has happened, right? But what happened when Blake Lively told everybody to cut contact with Justin Baldoni? What happened? What was the conversation that went on between Blake Lively and Colleen Hoover to make Colleen Hoover drop Justin Baldoni? What was the conversation that made Brandon Sklenar change his mind about Justin Baldoni? Especially if they knew that there could be a potential sequel. Did Blake Lively tell them a lie and say that we're going to do the sequel with Colleen Hoover and I'm going to direct and Sony's going to be behind me? And if that was so, is that why Colleen Hoover was so upset about changing the ending of the characters and essentially ending the fate and then taking out any possibility of a sequel because Justin Baldoni owns the rights? Had a conversation with No More, and it was him and No More that decided it just was going to be too much work for a sequel to put all that in of, you know, how much work an abuser has to do. And then you're dealing with the morality and the logistics of having an abuser co-parent. And that gets complicated, and I'm not sure that Blake Lively wanted to address that all or even thought about that, because she was only thinking about, one, the script, and as long as Colleen Hoover has her rights, Blake Lively would follow her anywhere. But Colleen Hoover does not have her rights. So Blake Lively was not going to follow Colleen Hoover anywhere. That is it for my little rant and my Brandon Sklenar questions. I still feel like Wayfair let Brandon Sklenar go, and he should have been the one to be deposed in everything, just based off of the fact that what did he have to give up to Blake Lively and what he had to gain in all of this. My video for this should be uploaded within the next couple of hours, pending any more internet mishaps in the future. I might just do a live on my phone and then just go through all the documents without StreamYard, just because I'm so sorry, my lives have been crashing. I think it's StreamYard. So I will, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and oh, I'm so glad our favorite person, Jenna Redfield, who's in Blake Lively's Disclosures, is still posting on Instagram. That's a totally another video. So I will see you guys later today. There will be a live tomorrow at 6:15, 6:25 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. And I thank you all for tuning in your time. And I hope you guys all have a happy new year and a happy just life. And thank you for tuning in. Thanks, guys. Bye.